Hey y'all, welcome back to the Prospect Roundup. As usual, this is Jason and I'm here at the greatness of RJ Duke Sports in McKinney. So in lieu of talking about individual teams or individual players, we're going to talk about the greatness of Bowman for 2025. So a little bit of that you're going to want to talk about when it comes to 2025 Bowman. Of course, we're going to run with the standard 100-player checklist of your veterans and your rookies. You've got the 150 prospects that you usually have. And you have some of the old standbys when it comes to the inserts. You've got the etched in glass. You've got the retro fractors. This year it's going to be Steve Carlton and Brooks Robinson, and the late Brooks Robinson does have autographs in there, which is absolutely fantastic. They have the spotlights this year, as they have in the past. We have the crystallized, and with the anime, they've added a little something extra. This year, they had anime last year, but this year they're going to add kanji variations, which will be very, very cool for some of the Japanese players that are going to be featured in the anime set. But the big thing for Bowman was something that was released about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. We're going to be searching for those red rookie logos. Why are we looking for those? Because Bowman has created a buyback for those particular cards. So this year, if you get one of the rookies with a red logo, you will be able to trade it in for $100 in fan cash from Fanatics if they win Rookie of the Year. But that's not all. If they go on to win an MVP or a Cy Young, that's good for $300. If they get a second MVP or a second Cy Young, that's $500. And if you get into true greatness, where we're getting guys that are winning a third Cy Young or a third MVP, they are going to be worth $700. And the final tier, if you're one of those long game masters and you're going to hang on to this card for 20 plus years, if they get in the Hall of Fame, it's good for $1,000. So now when you're pulling those rookie cards, you have something to consider if you get one of these red logo cards. It'll give you the opportunity to potentially get something back. And as you know, if you've done any of the buybacks through the Topps Chrome product, it is very, very fun to get a card and have it potentially give you something back. And there can be a lot of give back with this card. So let's answer the question of why do we collect Bowman? Why is it such a big deal? Bowman firsts are the definitive rookie card for any player. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how many times you find a card with an RC logo on it, because there's a million of those. And through all the brands, which one's the actual rookie? The answer is simple. It is the Bowman first. So when did that actually start? Back in 1996. That was the first year we had Bowman firsts come out. They had them for 96 and 97. And for whatever reason, apparently they thought they didn't like the way it looked, 98 through 2002, they actually stopped the firsts. So keep in mind, some of the most iconic cards that have ever been made of the current product since that time are those first Bowmans. Imagine what our world would be if we had a Albert Pujols first. His rookie or first Bowman card, which didn't have the first logo on it, is one of the more valuable autographed cards going. But it's not a first Bowman. So they picked back up in 2023, and they ran every year except 2013, which is also ironic because that robbed you of a chance for an Aaron Judge Bowman first. If you go back and look for the first Bowman card for Aaron Judge, you'll notice there isn't a Bowman first for him. But the guys that you'll remember, 2009, who doesn't know what the Mike Trout Bowman first looks like? Who doesn't know what the 2014 Mookie Betts first doesn't look like? Or how about that 2017 Ronald Acuna or that 2020 Bobby Witt Jr.? These are the iconic collecting cards that people want in their collection. So these Bowman firsts, this is your opportunity to pick up a card that could potentially be iconic going forward. Think about this. If in 1989 there was a Bowman first for Ken Griffey Jr., I don't know that the Upper Deck Griffey Jr. would be the card it is today. It would just be another rookie card. But right now, it's one of the most iconic cards in all of collecting. Here's the thing, when we start with Bowman, a lot of people want to know who should I be looking for, because a lot of these guys are guys that have been drafted, have been picked up through the international draft or that international signings. So there's going to be a lot of names that you probably never heard of. What we're going to do today is we're going to focus on some key guys that when you start opening your Bowman that you should be looking for. So a little bit of a disclaimer. I don't know for certain who the greats are going to be. I know who are popular right now, who the targets are right now, but here's the one feather in my cap. If you go back to 2022 when everybody thought Khalil Watson would be the dude, I was the guy who was collecting Ellie De La Cruz and Jackson Chourio. Kind of worked out pretty good for me. So the first guy, the number one guy that you should be looking for Bowman 2025 is a kid named Jesus Made. He plays for the Brewers. He is really highly sought after. He actually had some stuff in the last couple of years, believe it or not, an unlicensed product like Elite Extra. He was a Dominican draft pick or a Dominican developmental league kid, but he is a guy who has a huge upside right now. The next guy you need to be looking for is a kid named J.J. Weatherholt. He is with the Cardinals. Charlie Condon. Charlie Condon was the third pick in the draft, and he's the third guy on my list, but I wouldn't put him any lower than J.J. Weatherholt. He is absolutely a guy that you want in your collection. I would love that first Bowman autograph. Additionally, a guy like Zaire Hope with the Dodgers, or Kevin McGonigal, which feels like an unlicensed product. There have been a whole lot of his cards, but this is actually his first Bowman card. Definitely very collectible. Slade Caldwell with the Diamondbacks. And the last one I'm going to throw onto this, guys, that you really need to be on the lookout for is Thomas White. He's the first pitcher on my list. He is with the Marlins, and he is definitely one of the better pitching prospects in all of Major League Baseball. So those 7 are the guys that you've got to know. Those are the names that you need to have in your arsenal. But here's a couple more you don't want to sleep on. They won't necessarily go as high as you would expect, but they're guys worth hanging on to. A guy like Franklin Arias with the Red Sox, Quinn Matthews with the Cardinals, P.J. Morlando also with the Marlins, Josue Briseño, Tigers, Eduardo Quintero with the Dodgers, and Luis Pena with the Brewers. So I've just thrown out a whole lot of names, but we're narrowing that 150 list down to about 14 to 15 guys so you can really focus on getting the biggest names. Now, having said that, if any of you guys are into breaking cards, so it's always fun. You love to buy a box of cards. You buy this box of cards, you open this box of cards, you get all the cards inside of it. But sometimes we like to make a play at a break where I can buy a team and potentially get multiple boxes for less than the price of actual box and aim at a particular player. If you're a breaker, here's the guys you want to go after. So here's your low-hanging fruit. These are the easy ones because they're going to have the best cards. They're not going to be the least expensive. The Brewers, the Cardinals, the Tigers, the Dodgers, and the Rockies. These guys have a tremendous upside. These are the prospects that you're looking for. But I'm going to warn you in advance, if you're getting into breaks, these are not going to be the inexpensive teams. You'll definitely be paying for these teams. So here's the one that you probably want. Here's your potential benefit for going with a little bit lesser known team that could give you a lot of value. I would start with the Marlins. 2 of the guys on the list I just gave you are Marlins, but the Marlins as a team don't tend to sell very well, which actually leads me to the next team on my list that a lot of people have passed over, the Angels. The Angels have a lot of good young prospects in this. They may not have any of the top names, but they have a lot of valuable names. Additionally, I would include the Diamondbacks, the Red Sox, because the Red Sox have a lot of talent here. And the last one is near and dear to my heart. I'm going to include my Rangers. Now, they don't have any of the top picks, but they have a ton of guys that have Bowman firsts. This is a target-rich environment, and with a team that has that many potential hits, it's definitely worth a play, especially if you can get it at a lower price. The last thing I want to throw out there are a couple things that I found particularly humorous about this product. This is my what's in a name segment, and I would say the first is everybody who's ever watched baseball in the 80s and 90s and into the aughts, they loved them some David Ortiz. Everybody loves Big Papi. This product has 2 of his sons, and both have firsts in it. That's D'Angelo and David Jr. D'Angelo is with Boston, and David Jr. is with Texas. It'll be a lot of fun to collect their stuff, but I will warn you, don't go hard for their product. These guys don't project out as major league talent. The last thing I wanted to throw in this video before I run off for the day is my favorite name to come out in years. There's a young man who is currently with the Cincinnati Reds organization, and his name is Ichiro Cano Hernandez. Sounds like a kid that was engineered to be a Major League Baseball player. Believe it or not, he was not named for either of the baseball players in his name. It is just a coincidence. But I love the name, and every time I see it, it makes me smile. So that's it for now, guys. Go out and get yourself some Bowman. Find your local hobby shop. Get in on it while you can, because this is the kind of product that goes fast. And we'll see you next time.